Hi, you guys. So, I'm going to get us back on track with the Getting Past Broken class. But I think I want to just kind of do a reminder of what's going on and kind of update a little bit about what I think is going to happen with this channel going forward. So, the Getting Past Broken Recovery series is a collaboration that I am participating in. The channel is being facilitated, the class is being facilitated and run by Relentless Maverick, Planet X channel. I am participating in a manner of a professional training and development for ideas and skill building to bring into my practice as a working peer counselor with families. It's easier to connect with families and gain credibility with them if I am able to say to them, I have also done this. So in designing that as part of my practice, I set out to participate in this class. So my participation will be greatly different than any of yours, as it should be, as we're all individuals, in that I am not broken. I can't be and do my job. It's unethical and it would get me fired, actually. So I am not broken in the capacity of the design of this class. So I am handling these questions slightly differently than you would. However, what I am discovering through working through this class is there are other great benefits coming to me in my personal life, aside from the incredible benefits that are coming to the peers with whom I work and other climbers in my world. So the Getting Past Broken collaboration is a professional development process for myself, professional credibility, and ethical interactions. And it was an endeavor into uncomfortability for me as well, in that when the opportunity was presented to me to participate in this manner, in the manner I mean of creating a channel and putting this information out there, a process for you to observe. And I'm actually putting out several different processes for you through the course of this. It's easy for people to watch me and think that I am, quote, broken and working through this. And that's fine to think that. Think whatever you wish, whatever it helps you. But actually what you're seeing is different methodologies of coming to resolution. Everybody's different, and I've had a great deal of experience in my life in almost everything you can imagine. I spent a lot of hours wondering why me in my past, and where the path I'm on right now, I absolutely 100% know why me. And so it puts me in a better position to help you. So I will be continuing ongoing participation in the Getting Past Broken series and putting that information out here for you, because that is why you came here for the most part, and that is where I will be the most benefit to you at this time. However, as my own purpose becomes clarified and my own mission is laid before me, what I've always known is becoming confirmed and clarified, and that is that I am a healer. I have always been a healer. There has never been an age in which I have not been a healer. And I can say that to you honestly because I didn't know that was true until I said it. It's one of those beautiful things that we get to experience along this path. Along with these odd synchronicities. I just love these synchronicities. Words that I've used my entire life are suddenly, I hear other people use them and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome, because, I think it's a cool word, or I wouldn't be saying it, right? So it's absolutely cool that other people are saying it, because, they're cool too, Gotta get our cool levels up. We gotta survive this, right? Nobody's gonna want to listen to us if they don't think we're cool. That's just the world we live in, folks. We are badass, we are cool, or they don't want to hear us. Even have a little bit more credibility being crazy than you do being sane. And I can say that because in my field of work, I am one of the very few people that works in mental health that does not qualify for current DSM Diagnostic 5 diagnosis and does not take medication or participate in any form of scientifically enhanced treatment plans. And I do actually get quite a lot of flack for that, and some question to my credibility, amazingly enough, because statistically speaking, I believe it is I think the statistic is like 86%. Please do feel free to confirm this. I'm just putting it out there. Approximately 86%, I believe, of current practicing mental health professionals qualify for a mental health diagnosis under the current DSM-5 diagnostics manual and some form of a supportive or assistive medication. So when you work in a field of fellow practitioners and colleagues in which you are a very small and scarce majority, they don't necessarily like your abilities for credibility purposes because you're not like them. And the other day when I put out an example too of talking yourself through processes as new things come to you, one of those things that I used as a talk through example was an if only. I'm sorry, I just got distracted out my door. I don't know how to make this video pause and I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to have to put a stop break in it and come back to you. I'll get better at this, I assure you, but thank you so much for your tolerance and bearing with me through this. I am learning every single day more and more about what I'm supposed to be doing, and part of it is these explanations to you. Well, I think I've talked myself through that one. And, no, I haven't. I'll be right back. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I hate it when that happens, you guys. I hate it when you have to watch that happen. But I am not good enough at editing to take that stuff out so that you don't have to tolerate watching it. I was trying to put some music with the video. I couldn't even figure that part out, but I've been assured the time's coming that I will have the ability to learn these things or have somebody around that can help me with it. It's just not here right now. So anyway, that's where I was going. Was the other day. It was one of the examples in the if only scenarios I gave you was that I've never been, quote, like everybody else. And that was like driven deeply into me in like punishment scenarios, rejection scenarios, acceptance scenarios, and in my life throughout my childhood. It was like, why can't you just be normal? Why can't you be like everybody else? So me having a desire to be like everybody else was like developed in me. And it wasn't until much older in my world when I got beyond that. But anyway, that's a sidetrack again. So anyway, so the channel is developing into, I don't know, you guys. It started off as an experiment in uncomfortability because I don't mind being uncomfortable. I usually do better when I'm not comfortable. I'm one of those people that, like, at the last minute, boom, get her done, right? In college, I had huge projects. Like, I'm designing, family recovery, homelessness systems, huge projects for my college papers that are due. I've got like 12 weeks, 16 weeks to design it, and I do it in 4 days. And then I ace it, get an A, and the people want to implement it. So those kind of weird things just happen to me, and I do really much better sometimes under pressure or when I'm uncomfortable. And this channel started off with when Relentless Maverick started discussing this with me. I was very much about no, you're so funny. No, we're not doing that. And I had this moment while he was still talking to me. He was talking to me on the same phone he's talking to me on. I am actually creating the channel, just like, okay, fine, I'll just do it, whatever. I don't have to do anything with it. I'll just make it, and that way I can just say I did it. I don't have to do anything more, right? So that's how it started. And I'm still uncomfortable, which is fine, but I'm learning that this is going to go somewhere. I don't know where. I'm kind of learning along with you, doing the work, saying the words, and seeing what comes from it. So thank you for being here and bearing with me on this, um, because I can't really guarantee what our purpose, our course, our mission, or our vision is right now. I only know that I will have stuff for you, and it'll be relative to several different things. One of them will be the supportive part of the getting past broken, because that's what started us here. Another is designing and working with you on a fear to father system. And there's some other stuff, because right now there's a whole bunch of stuff that's being brought to me cosmically, which is kind of interesting, because I get the blank slate for the most part. A lot of me is blank. It's been that way a lot. So when new stuff comes to me that's different than what I think I already know, I'm always very excited to be like, ooh, what's coming now? What's coming now? I don't know what any of this means. Maybe someday I'll be blessed and I'll get to have a conversation with Naughty Beaver, and maybe he'll be like allowed to tell me what some of this means, because there's some crazy, crazy stuff, y'all. Like, wow. Just when I finally start wanting to know who I am and start figuring out a little bit about who I am, the few things that I was always able to cling to are changing about who I actually am. I mean, how does your birth sign change? I mean, how does your astrology sign change? It does. Or something. I'm learning. And in that learning, I have been led to some answers for you, or some work for you, on the Getting Past Broken series of questions. So what we're in is the number 2 section of powerlessness. And we had the first 2 questions come forward some time ago. There's been a break in that, which is how we ended up on this wandering, meandering path that we're on, like right now. Which reminds me, Superman's sign is hope. I've never been one of those superhero people, because it's always been so far-fetched to me. But I was watching Justice League with my family. Anyway, that was so awesome. I'm going to be working on that with some families. Anyway, so the powerlessness questions that we've come back around to on is number 1 was, how has pride stopped you or me from seeking and accepting help to overcome hurts, hang-ups, and habits, and write about it? And number 2 was, what in my past has caused me to have the if-onlys? For example, if only I had, if only something blank hadn't happened, etc., and write about that. So, because I am, like I mentioned a little bit ago, in a different place than you, and I'm not broken, so to speak, in the manner that this program was designed for, that will be coming to you a little differently. And that actually came today through work that I was learning about on stuff in the cosmos and prophecies and things related to my life and my identity, in which I was not encouraged, allowed, or supported even in my childhood. And, you know, we all have had our if-onlys and worked through them. I've had my worldly if-onlys, I've had my fleshy if-onlys, I've had my substance if-onlys, I've had my education if-onlys, I've had my professional career if-onlys, I've had my parenting if-onlys, I've had my family life if-onlys, and of course, it could go on and on. You know, it could, right? But that's not where I'm at now. And where I am at now, though, is today, as I'm absorbing a great deal of information that was just pretty intense, and not understanding hardly any of it, but knowing by this drive and these physiological responses that this is some significant big stuff. And if I did understand it any more than I do right now, it might scare me. And I've had a lot of kind of intimidating things about my identity lately that I'm learning timing. You know, somebody started teaching me a year and a half ago about timing. 3 years ago, somebody started teaching with me on patience. And as I've gone backwards in my timescape recently through answering questions and things like that, I started to notice different catalysts, people, places, times, where I've started having, like, shifting and learning and working on different things in my life. It's kind of strange. And today, 4 if-onlys came to me as I was learning about the cosmos and prophecy and correlating it to who I thought I was in my childhood, who I was discouraged from being, and who I have found out that I am, all in one afternoon. I kind of lost it for a little bit there. Yeah, I had to reach out. I reached out to somebody that it's not even relevant to them. It's not even any of their problem. Just because I had to have somebody place to put some words, and I didn't know what to do. So I had to apologize to that. And by the way, if you're watching this, which I doubt that you are, because this is really nothing to do with what your role is. But if you are watching this, I sincerely apologize for dumping my crap on you. I'm sorry about that again. So anyway, the if-onlys that came to me, though, tripping, right? The first one was, if only I had been allowed to know. And then that worked into, well, you know, you can only be allowed something for so long in your life, right? I mean, no matter how subjugated you are, and if you've watched any history about me, you know, there's some subjugation, there's still only a certain part of you that's under that allowed paradigm. And then at some point that has to shift over to self-responsibility, which brought me to that next if only, which was like, I was like, if only I had been encouraged to know. And I was like, wow, yeah, that would have been deep, right? It would have been great to have that encouragement in my life of, you know, I know maybe I didn't allow you to do this, but I know you were interested in it, and you should go and do that because it is okay. Even though it was pounded into you that it's not, it is. You know, that kind of encouragement might have been great, right? And then I had to think through that. And I was like, okay, so had I been given that encouragement? Go, do it, figure it out. I know you've been interested. If only I had been capable to know and understand. Because I wasn't. Which comes down to that whole thing about timing, right? Because then I landed on, if only I had known. Which led me into that circle of, but I couldn't handle it. Because what I know now and what I've learned, it's taken a lot for me to be able to handle it and grasp it. And sometimes I don't even remember some of it. And I know some of that's the turtle in me. You know, turtles are known to take a long time to come to things. And that's part of that slowness. And part of that in me is that brain injury. But, you know, sometimes my dragonfly in me just scoops that turtle up and carries it. I'm hoping that she's going to scoop that dragonfly up pretty soon, or scoop the turtle up pretty soon. So, you know, and that got me into thinking, like, back. So what was it that I had wanted, that I wasn't allowed to know? That was so important to me. I know what it was now. And I had to write it down because there's a lot, and it's pretty big. So I wrote it down for you, and I'm going to try not to read directly, but it's important that I get it right. So through many decades of dedicated work on the part of my mom and her mom, together and separately, our family lines have been identified by each of my parents in all 4 directions. So that would be 8 limbs. My mom's, mom and dad's lines on both sides. My dad's, mom and dad's lines on both sides. So yeah, they've done a lot of work for a long time. It's a lot of limbs and a lot of branches drawn out through their focused dedication and diligence. And through their efforts, the truth was produced and confirmed. It also explained the disdain that I have long experienced from them, but I've gotten ahead of myself on that one. So, yeah. I had always heard whispers among the adults of my life referencing the Indian side. It was always uttered with shame and condemnation, like it was an unclean or a curse word. There was such conflict there too, because 3 of my aunts actually married indigenous coastal clan members and denied their children that heritage for a long time, until they were old enough to stand on their own and desire to know it. And even then, they didn't really embrace any of their culture or heritage associated with that part of their identity, and they were never encouraged to. Now me, for as long as I can remember, always, I was drawn to the indigenous cultures. I felt drawn to them all. I didn't differentiate or divide them up in my mind. They were all the same, yet different. I received great disdain and reproach from my family members about this, always. There was a constant reminder by them. They were constantly reminding me that you're not even Indian. That's so far back in our family, if it's even true. It doesn't even pertain to you. So even though I do have clan blood, it was less than. Which, of course, is also an indicator of acceptance within the clan, right? As not enough blood. But that didn't matter to me. It didn't dissuade me from my preferences. And I connected myself in any way I was able and allowed so that I may have a small piece of that. And in that small piece, I felt inexplicably, I felt complete. And I don't know why. Excuse me, this itches. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to make the movie pause, right? So that was always discouraged. Even recently, in the last few days, while planning, sharing, and preparing to enter this Monument Valley expedition just a few weeks from now, I was told by someone in the family, you've always been drawn to that Indian stuff for some reason. I'm not surprised you're participating in this. Such disdain, the same conflict responses as always. Recently, I inquired to my mom to finding in her research about any confirmation of indigenous ancestry. I was very startled when she gave me a couple of names and clan connections in her father's line. Excuse me. Recently, when I try to participate in anything with technology involved, I have absolute trouble right now. My throat's on fire. I just need to cough. My eyes are about to water. Nothing's wrong. Just all of a sudden I have to cough. I tried to participate in a live chat earlier on Jeff Doherty's channel. I'm like blocked, but not blocked because I haven't done anything wrong, so there's no reason for me to be blocked, but like completely invisible. Nothing I typed could get through. And this is happening to me a lot of places where I go. I'm like invisible there. And I just take it as this is where I'm not supposed to say anything and I'm not supposed to participate in that manner, and I just kind of let it go. But I'm experiencing a lot of this, so I apologize for the delays and breakups in this video. So anyway, I reached out to my mom, and she gave me some information that I was kind of like, cool, right? So in that moment, with just a few words, it all became very clear. A small amount of it did anyway. My blood may be considered less than, or maybe considered not enough in the books and traditions of the men of this world. But that does not eliminate or minimize the connectivity that I feel and experience. For a brief moment, I thought, if only I had been allowed to know this part of myself. If only I had known. But I realized that it hadn't really mattered what they said when it came down to it anyway. Because I knew. I knew enough to keep seeking and reaching and waiting for it. I knew enough. And that's all it took. So, in talking through and resolving these if-onlys, I honor my grandmothers. We are Choctaw. We are she. She is we, and we are they. Texie, Annie, Wheat, Christ. Anna, Christ, Eslick. Grandmother, I honor you. I love you all. Blessings to you this day. Create love. It's the most important thing.